Glad to have you join us again. It's the Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. Let's get talking now. Just like other women across the African continent, looking good is inherent in the average Nigerian woman. Even though the country is witnessing unfavorable economic conditions, the Nigerian beauty industry is still thriving. Despite the fact that the skincare industry in Nigeria is saturated with very high competitions, the beauty industry is on a forward march evolution to becoming one of the sectors with an improved contribution to Nigeria's GDP. Presently, many skincare and beauty companies have moved from service-only mode to manufacturing varieties of products that are in high demand and are replacing foreign products. To give us more perspective into this development as we dissect the prospects, challenges and opportunities in the Nigerian skincare industry is the founder and chief executive officer of More Organics at DBC Odeleye. She is also the president of the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs Alumni Association of Nigeria. She joins me live virtually from Nairobi, Kenya. Adebisi from Nigeria, it's good morning, and Alant over there is good afternoon. It's a pleasure having you join me on the program today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. And good morning to Nigerians as well.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure having you. Now let's get talking now. According to my research, I found that you are a trained estate surveyor and valuer from Bafemi Awolowo University. Can you tell us what informed your decision of delving into the world of beauty and skincare industry?
Thank you very much. Yes, I have my background in estate management. However, I also have a skin concern called xerosis cutis, and it became really worse when I was pregnant for my first child. And I was very irritant. My skin was extremely dry and it breaks and bleeds during Harmattan. So for me, I needed something that could suit my skin. And so I remember one of those days I was complaining and my mother-in-law heard me and she decided to gift me shea butter. And after using it for a while, the breaking and the bleeding on the skin reduced. And it happened that I was in a meeting with some women in a choir practice actually, and one of the choir members needed to get shea butter, for our daughter towards the next day, preparation for the next day. And I told her, don't worry, let us get our songs right, and I gifted her. This woman went ahead to tell every other person that she knows that uses shea butter that the shea butter she got from me was fantastic. And before you know what is happening, they were requesting for shea butter from me.
Wow.
And I was supplying, basically made 500. I remember that I gave my mother-in-law 500, and then I was able to make 1,000. I made 2,000, and then I made 4,000, and that was how the business really started. It wasn't as if I planned to go into, the industry, but because of the challenges I faced, and as I was able to solve for somebody, and the other people decided to start buying. That was how I got into the industry.
All right, great one. Now, let's quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll dive into other aspects of your journey and also the skincare industry. Do stay with us. Glad to have you joining us again on Business Breakfast on iBrandTV. I've been having a conversation with DBC Odeleye, who is the founder and chief executive officer of More Organics. She joins me now live from Nairobi, Kenya. DBC, let's continue our conversation, but I still want to know more about your journey into the skincare industry. Now, since your voyage into the skincare industry, how has the journey been for you so far? What are the peculiar challenges you face, and how were you able to surmount or overcome them? All right, that's a network issue that we're trying to rectify here to ensure that.
One of the major things.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the major challenge that I faced was supply chain management, and for me, it was because I really don't understand the value chain. I don't know where the end-to-end value chain, where does it start, how is it done? So one of the things that I did was, after I was able to make about 10,000, I decided to go to the community where these women that source shea butter are, because number one, I want to be able to build a relationship with them. Number two, I want to have a quality. You can get anything anywhere, but the quality and standard that I want to be known for, I needed to speak with them and ensure that whenever you're sending anything to me in Lagos, it is this same exact quality that I wanted. The other major challenge is, regulatory bodies. In a place like Nigeria, for instance, they have to be registered with different people. Now, top on the list should be NAFDAC, and NAFDAC, you have to do like registration number for each of the products. So if you have a shea butter, if you have like 5 variants of shea butter, for instance, they have distinct NAFDAC numbers, and that is really, really huge cost. Looking at an MSME that is just starting an organization. Another major concern that I had was
All right, so we're trying to reconnect with Adebisi, who's giving us some insight into what the Nigerian organic skincare business is all about, and also telling us her own story of how she was able to overcome challenges faced in the sector from when she started to where she is at the moment. Adebisi, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Just go ahead. I can hear you.
Another challenge that I faced when I was starting was limited infrastructure. Everybody knows that there are a lot of things that needs to be done in a place like Nigeria. So access to power was a major thing. Having to produce and being sure that there's going to be power, to manufacture those things. So one of the things that we did was the solution that worked for us is we looked at our 3 months at that time. We looked at the 3 months production and sales. That helped us in projecting how many inventory that we should have, how many products are going to be sold at a particular time. So with that knowledge, we are able to produce in bulk. And one of the things that did to us, it helped us to save time and also save money, because instead of having regular market visits, we are able to purchase in bulk. Get our inventory and raw materials in bulk, and then, produce as in bulk. And so the cost of transportation, cost of logistics were reduced. I think those are some of the challenges that was faced. I don't know if you heard the other ones I've stated earlier.
Yes, I did. You talked about the regulatory issue, you talked about the transportation issue, and also made mention about government also not helping you guys fast track growth in your sector.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's I know you're currently in Kenya for a different business entirely, but I'd like to know from the time you've been in Kenya and now, what can you say in terms of comparison about the Kenya skincare industry and the Nigeria organic skincare industry? What do you have to say if you had to put them side by side in terms of business environment and the growth at which the business are developing over there? Do some comparison for us here.
I would always say that a lot of African countries, we have almost, the same challenges. However, I was engaging with one of the entrepreneurs here this morning, and one of the things she mentioned was that most Kenya organizations die before 5 years. That is also like the speculation in Nigeria. Like if a company can
survive,
can run, above 5 years, it's basically the same thing. One of the things I've also seen with the Kenyan industry when it comes to beauty is I think they are more conservative on like the Nigerian market. We have more blacks, as it were. I've not really seen anybody that's, when you see someone and you know that this person has a damaged skin or is bleaching and all of those things. I think Kenyans are more, they are more conservative, and they do, I can't say they do not, but at the same time, it's not something that you just see, top of it. But the industries are growing. I spoke, like place like Nigeria, for instance, where we have shea butter in over 26 states. Shea butter literally grows in 23 states in Nigeria. But in Kenya, they don't have, so they have to import from West Africa. Wow. And most times it comes from Ghana. And we all know that a chunk of shea butter that goes to Ghana comes from Nigeria, but it is credited to Ghana. So, this is also a call to us in Nigeria to look at how we can leverage on collaboration across other African countries, understand what the other African countries need that we have, and then we think of how we can transport the logistics of moving these things from Nigeria to other parts of the world.